called, and yes, I mean called, as in the fullest form of being called to any ministry of any path, the language that calls us must be clear. We might just make out our names, or we might experience the feeling, the pull, the draw, as of a strong invisible hand tugging at our hearts and minds. We might actually hear a voice. And once we hear that call, it's up to us to decide whether or not to ignore it, half-heartedly respond, or wholeheartedly answer. Many people get called by various spirits, but then again, many ignore them. They are the ones who have been taught by income-seeking spiritual leaders to listen only to the voices of humans. Their hearts have been damaged in that their spiritual receptors have been not removed, but scarred. These people either die without ever attaining their full spiritual potential, or at some point, they finally become so uncomfortable in their self-imposed spiritual straitjackets that they bust out, no longer accepting the heartless impositions suggested to them by selfish, self-satisfied, suspicious spiritual leaders. For the ones who heed the call, though, the answer requires wholehearted focus and a mantle of responsibility. Understanding and walking their new path creates a need to understand their path's way of living and master its method of communication. As a word of warning, it's important to remember that balance is required when learning any new path. Some become so enamored with the sense of power that their egos become fed. However, there's no room for ego in anything except self-worship. For those who are called by Odin, Freya, or any of the Nordic realm, a blessing awaits them via the path of the runes. And from the very start, the first rune, Anzos, presents power, leadership, and focus to the new student. If he's not careful, he will apply every bit of the focus upon a very worldly and mundane goal. To prevent becoming an emotionally and mentally unbalanced student, remember that the actual Vikings were, yes, known for their prowess in war, but in order to attain their successes, they had to master everything else as well. The Viking path is not merely one of power, but one of knowing how to use that power to master your own psycho-spiritual inclinations. In fact, the runes address the subjects that were important to the Viking way, but they can be applied to contemporary situations, and that path awaits you. Our first rune to study is Anzos. It relates to Odin, and the esoteric meanings of Anzos they have a lot of them, but I'm just going to use 3. The first one is vision, the second leadership, and the third is the power of words. Just envision a perfect leader with clear vision and very forceful words that always achieve what he desires. So I want you to use these 3 things, vision, leadership, and power of words, to create a meditational sentence for yourself for the week. What you'll do is you'll read your sentence and then practice writing the rune Anzos. This way, every day by doing that, you will completely absorb Anzos into your heart. Now, one meditational sentence that I've come up with is this. Odin's eye is truly focused as his vision demands strong leadership and a forceful power of words, and by these things we recognize and honor him. Feel free to use that if you want to. But who is Odin? Well, he's the All-Father, the source from which all direction springs, and the overseer of everything. His ferocity and strength are unsurpassed, and all Norse warriors seek his wisdom and drive. Now this brings up a question about your own self. Do you possess the drive and wisdom to achieve success in whatever you do? The path of the runes is the holy quest, and you're a holy warrior. Are you dedicated to it? It's very fitting that the subject is the very first in your journey, as it calls for you to question your sincerity. The Vikings possessed strong focus, and when they knew what they wanted, they went after it with ferocity. They were notorious warriors, and they left their mark in lands far from their home in Scandinavia. Greenland, Iceland, Europe, Asia, and North America hosted, sometimes not so happily, the presence of Viking warriors, and history has been sculpted to what it is now because of their strength, drive, focus, and determination. What kind of mark are you making with your life? Are you seen as a smart, successful warrior? Intellectual ability is a beautiful thing, but without the drive and focus that Odin inspires, even a smart man can be a failure. Ask yourself how much drive and focus you're willing to develop. If you're to advance in your quest, think how you can improve your life. Think about your needs. Sometimes we have to rethink our needs. Sometimes the answer is not as simple as we want it to be. Do you think you need to make more money, or is it more correct to say that you need to save more money? If so, this requires you change your spending habits. Do you need more education? Do you need a degree, or will a certification or even personal research suffice? Any amount of adding to one's education is beneficial, and yet again, these quests require your dedication and focus. So yet again, a change in your own attitude and actions is required. Depictions of Odin show him with just one eye. Sacrificing his eye in his quest for wisdom, he nevertheless maintained focus and continued on his eternal quest. Focus and determination are his sharpest weapons. It's time to make these weapons yours as well. With just one eye, you're able to dedicate yourself to this path and feign distraction. Some artists even close one eye while working on fine details in order to gain better focus on their paintings. Are you so dedicated that you're willing to ignore distractions? That's what's required for. So there endeth the lesson on Anzos. Remember the 3 esoteric meanings for this week? It's vision, leadership, and the power of words. Make your vision clear, stand tall as a leader, and make your words powerful. Maintain your focus and dedication. Practice writing the rune Anzos and put it in your journal. Focus on the sentence every day of this week, and that will help you to truly absorb the meaning of Anzos, because we want you to be able to write fluently at the end of this course. And for now, I will say cheers, or in Norse terms, skål.